this though, and then we'll figure that out. Hey, Radaria. All right, so let's start by going over to Storybook, and we want to use this stuff. This is in our UI packages. And I think I want a -1. There we go. Chu asked, do I have a girlfriend? I do not. So if we go to UI, source, components, card grid is what we're going to use. And we're going to just pretty much do what this story does. So I'm going to copy this. And I need to make sure that we're exporting all this stuff. So we're going to export card grid and also question card. And let's go ahead and go into website, pages, and I think actually we put it in components. No, I forgot we're not working on the code file anymore. This is where we're working. All right, and we need to build the code. That way we can access it in our other package. And instead of filling dummy data, we're now going to have data.homeQuestions. And I think that's the array. So that's what we actually pass in. That's going to be our question. The ID we can actually pass as the key. And this is actually gonna just like directly 1-for-1 match the props, I believe. ID, text, repo, username, programming language, creator. Yeah, I was just making sure that we got creator. So what I can do here is I can just spread. And now we don't really care about the index. All right. So I tried auto importing it, didn't work. So just opening console to make sure it built. And I'm just going to restart TypeScript to make sure it's importing it correctly because I'm seeing red squigglies. You think map is your most commonly used array method? Probably for me as well. Alright, so I see some errors, but I don't know if that's actually going to cause us a problem. Let's see. Programming language is missing. So if I remember correctly, we're not actually fetching that yet. Nope, we are. Programming language. Am I not asking for it? Programming language. I think I just haven't generated the types, I'm guessing. So we're going to say yarn generate here. Ben, do you have escape rebound to another key for Vim? Yes. So I have it bound to JK. So you may notice that J appears for like kind of like a millisecond there. That's when I press JK, J appears, and then when I press K, it removes it. What's the shortcut to use the move caret? What are you calling the move caret? Are you talking about like my cursor here? Right, so the error went away there. So now we're passing all the props in correctly. We're not going to see anything yet. Oh, and we straight error out. I was going to say we we're going to see anything because we don't have any data. JK for the meme's sake, or is there some thinking behind it? JK is just nice because it's like what I use, and this kind of answers both questions. To move around the cursor, you use JK to go up and down. So my right hand is very close to JK already because I'm pressing it a bunch. So to be able to just press JK there is very easy. And so I don't have to strain my fingers going all over the keyboard. And then I do L and H to move side by side. And then I press O to go to the start of the line. And then I press W to do a word at a time. And then you can mix these together and you can hop all around, right? Go G to the top, capital G to the bottom. Yeah, exactly. So just like proximity, we're so much closer. All right, so we got an unhandled rejection. You likely forgot to export the component. So I'm guessing one of these things is not working properly. Let's just make sure I exported. So export card grid. Export const question card. I'm exporting all from both. We can see them exported here. I'm just gonna try restarting it. I'm wondering if it looks alright. I'm wondering if when Next.js first bundles stuff, if it was just missing it. How are we doing in VS Code? Do you have an extension? Yep, there's a VS Code extension for Vim. I'm trying to make all my changes in Vim bindings before I start using it. So right now, the only ones I'm using in VS Code anyway. Oh, it does not let me see. Dang. They got rid of the JSON version. Oh no, I pressed that. I was like, I much prefer seeing the JSON view of this. The only Vim like extra setting that I have is the JK right now, at least in this version. If you splice array in the middle of reduce, you think it breaks up the loop? You know, I'm not sure actually. All right, so let's go ahead and add a new question. And I think it's gonna get mad at us when we add this actually. So you toggle insert mode when using shortcuts. So I press I to toggle insert mode and then JK to get out of it. All right, so let's do, I think this should error out, by the way. Cool. Yeah, so we're not passing the programming language in when we're creating this. So we're gonna add a new field on here called programming language that we accept. And then in our GraphQL mutation, we're good. We just have to regenerate the types. And then in our code file over here, we need to also pass in the programming language. And the programming language is Lang. All right. And I just need to open up the components and it should be good. Cool. So now I'm thinking this error should not happen. Felt the VS Code extension for Vim was really bad and sluggish, so I actually removed VS Code and started using NeoVim for all my coding with the language server together with Geoplete, and I'm using Ale for linting and fixing. It's really nice. I just missed the eye candy, like the navigation. Yeah. For me, if I have a decently sized project that I'm working on, Vim can be pretty sluggish, and also macros are really awkward sometimes, and in general, like the Vim plugin will sometimes randomly do stuff, but it works like decently well, and I really like not having to like spend time with my config with Vim, and that was pretty much the main reason that I switched over to VS Code. Is like I get so much free stuff for using VS Code that I don't have to configure and set up. It just works extremely well out of the box, that I was spending just way too much time trying to configure my Vim. Alright, let's go with that. Alright, so we created it successfully, so let's see our home page. We should have a question. Holy crap, why did it do that? So it was ginormous, and then it shrunk it down. It's like our CSS like lags for a minute. It's kind of funny because the file is really big that we're loading, and then our CSS gets applied and it shrinks. When you generate the types from GraphQL, it's going to some file, or is it creating a new file? So what it does is, right now I have it putting everything in a new file. Well, not a new file, but everything goes to a file called Apollo Components, and it overrides it every time. Alright, so let's load this again. So that's gonna be straight unacceptable. I'm wondering if we can get the CSS to load on like in the server side rendering, so we never see the CSS loading in. Okay, so you think it's only because I'm using the React dev build that it's doing this? You think in production we should not see that? I have a super nice setup with NeoVim and Terminal, but there's so much you get with VS Code that I've mostly switched. Yeah, sure, but I love living in the init Vim. Third, file navigation with colored icons for each specific file I'm in. I have the ultimate editor. Yeah. I really did like NeoVim when I was using it though, and Ale was pretty nice. I had a very similar setup to you. Is it style components that's slow? I don't know if it's styled components that's being slow. I don't know if I did this with the regular CSS file, if we'd have the same problem. You can configure it to create them per file. Can you configure? I don't know if you can configure the GraphQL code generator to do a file per. I imagine you probably could. Alright, so we see the JS tag here. That's actually kind of interesting. I kind of was expecting it to say JavaScript there. Alright, so language is not found. So that's actually just a problem in our load language over here, is we do not have, or file named language, is we actually don't have JS going to, yeah. So JS should go to JavaScript. All right, let's load that. I can't really tell if this is loading the right syntax for Prism. It looks kind of correct. I kind of feel like the modules.export maybe should get a coloring, but that's okay. I thought I created 2 of them. Oh, that's right. I created another question on CodePonder, so it's only going to show up once. Alright, so let's pick another one of my repos. Alright, so now we see 2 cards. I think I need to create an outer div. I'm eating fries, says I'm so stressed right now. Why are you so stressed? Alright, so on my div here, we just need to say inline block and it should gap nicely. Nice, it does. Now I did kind of put it right next to that. Maybe I need to wrap it in a div here. Alright, well, we got our cards laid out pretty nice. Let's do pagination next. So I'll save that. What have you been trying to get working for the last 45 minutes? Alright, so pagination, what do we want to do for that? This is going to be kind of interesting. What do we want to sort by? I guess we could possibly sort by multiple things. So here's our SQL right now, and we're going to add some stuff to it. And now the question is, what do we want to add to our SQL to add pagination? So I'm wondering if I want to just go the super duper easy route right now and just use offset and limit, because then we can finish this in 2 seconds and then come back and do a more proper pagination if this project has millions and millions of questions and we need it. Sort by time first. Yeah. I think that is probably a good one to do. I don't think we're going to have too many problems where questions are going to be asked in the same timestamp, I don't think, because I think it gets down pretty low. I think I'm going to just do offset for this though and just make it dead simple. So now we're going to have some arguments on here. And yeah, it's going to be nullable. Alright, so we're going to have an offset and a limit. It's going to be a number. Specifically an int. And should I make this nullable? Yeah. Offset I want to make nullable as well. It's also an int. Alright. So here we're going to say if offset, or if not offset. Actually, we can just set the default value right here, I guess. So instead of saying number there, I'm just going to say the offset's going to be, I guess, 12. No, actually, we're fetching 6 at a time, so the offset should be 6. I'm just going to put a constant up here. And here I'm just going to say if the limit is greater than like 100. Now let's make it 20. If they're trying to get more than 20 questions, we're going to set the limit to 20. Well, since we're doing batches of 6, let's do 18. So 18 is going to be our max size for the limit here. Are you going to keep on streaming while as posting YouTube videos, or is just a phase? Yes, I'm going to be pretty much doing the same thing I've been doing with this for until I get further along in the project in like MVP state and release it, I think is the plan, at least right now. All right, offset. So we just need to use both of these values now. And I think I just smack them right at the end. All right. Hey, we just got a third subscriber. Thanks for subscribing, Tony. Appreciate it. Looks like I answered correctly. Welcome to the team. And yeah, now that we update our SQL query, isn't there a Discord? Yep. I have Discord in what's it called? Description below. At least I think I do. Oh yes, isn't there direct messages on Discord? Yes, there is direct messaging on Discord. All right, so now when we fetch this, we have two variables. How am I dumb? I can't figure it out. So if you go to Discord, and I think I have streamer mode still on. Yeah, just click this. And then you can see all these people that you can direct message, and I think you can also search here. And you may be able to like click on people's names in the channel and direct message them there as well. So now we have two variables, offset and limit, that we want to pass. Offset, limit. And we're just going to just pass them in as variables here. All right, we don't need those exclamation points there because it's possibly null. All right, so now that we added those two types, again, anytime we make a change to our queries or mutations, we regenerate. All right, so now we can pass in our limit and offset. So I guess at the bottom of the page, I can have like a next button or something. And limit 6, offset 0. I'm just gonna store it in the state right here. And set the type definition. All right, and we're just going to pass the state directly in as variables. And then at the bottom of the card grid, I suppose, I guess I could do it outside the div. Let's grab a button, and we're going to import the button from our UI library. And we're going to say next, and let's give it an on click. We're just going to say this.setState. And we're going to say limit is equal to, or the offset is equal to the current offset plus whatever the limit is. It's getting imported. Let's see what we did wrong. Oh, we're missing variant. We're doing primary variant. I think I should set that as a default prop. Alright, that really should drop below. And I think I'm going to need to work on a little bit more about spacing this out, but that's okay. I also need to make sure that it looks like we can click on that, because right now we cannot. UI button cursor pointer. Don't you have to wrap the button in a next link because of server-side rendering? So with this button, I'm currently not changing pages. I'm just reloading the content. But that brings up the point of a lot of websites, when you go to the next page, it actually will have like page 1, 2, and then it'll increase as you click through. So maybe we should add that as well, because if you refresh the page, we're going to lose our position. I think for now I'm not going to add that. Ooh. What the heck? It looks like you wrapped solid around your React button, but the class prop is not being passed down. No solid should be rendered as class name. Alright, so when I said cursor is now pointer, it straight broke it. I'm guessing, so I rebuilt the UI package. See if it built. Yep, it built. Last time I did that, I had to redo this, so we'll redo this now. See if that fixes it. Okay, yeah, it's back now. You hate React Router? Are there any good alternatives? People have really talked highly about this one called Reach Router that recently came out. I haven't had a chance to try it yet because I did the Next router before it. But give this a try if you're not liking it. Yeah. Alright, so now we can page through, and of course we have no other content. And the simple thing is, a simple thing we can add to this is we can return whether there is a next button. So right now what we're returning is just an array of the code review questions. No, let's keep it super basic right now. I don't even want to add that right now. I think there's other things to get working before this. I'm just going to add a conditional. And actually, so what I wanted to add for the conditional was right here. I wanted to check the data and see if it had a length. So to be able to do that, I'm going to have to move this up. Here. Yep, that looks good. And now I can say data.questions.length. Then we'll show the button. Next.js makes routing really easy if you want server-side rendering / code splitting built in. Yeah, it does. That's one thing that I really liked, is I didn't have to think about code splitting. We display 0 here. That's because the length of this is 0. So if we have a length, we're going to just turn this into ternary, and now the 0 will go away. I should have rendered null. And perfect. It's a nice little load. Oh, it's loading all the way back to this. So the whole thing is highlighted. I guess it's my question right here. It's so funny to see a giant blow up of my face and then it shrinks down to the little images. So really with this, all we need to do is like take everything, center it, and give it like a max width and stuff. So at some point, I think I'll come back and do that. Because we're going to use this like the same width, we can create like a standard layout that we use between the different pages. I guess the other thing we can do is like, this should be clickable. Are you dealing with CSS Grid or Flexbox? So right now this is Grid. So we can see what our grid looks like. It's a very simple grid. We just split it by split in half. One fraction here, and then 18 pixels between it. So let's deal with how to make this clickable. And I guess I should really be clicking on, I don't know what I want the user to click on. I guess the title makes sense. I don't know if you know you're clicking on the question. Maybe we should make both of these things clickable. So it's going to be UI, card grid, question card. So I think we want to add on to this 2 props. On title click and on question click. So from the UI point of view, we may want to do different things. In this case, we know we want to do the same thing, but this component I still want to split it up into 2 in case I ever want down the line to change that. So really this is kind of a link now. So I could wrap it in an anchor and say on click. To do that, we have to have an href tag and or prop, and you can just set it to a pound for that. And I can do the same thing with the text body. And this is going to use the question click. So build, and we know every time we build this, we're going to have to Control C. And also now that we made a change there, it's going to break our Storybook. So let's just add this real quick. The title should be clickable, the repo should be secondary. That's an interesting color there. And now we're underlining everything. I don't know how we want this part to look. That's something I need to change in the mockup, I suppose. Use the repo as the title instead of the title of the question. I don't remember if the question has a title field. Right now we do not have a title field for questions. Maybe we should have it, because I could see that making sense. Because on GitHub, when you create an issue, you have a title and then you have text in it. So we could do something similar. But for us, I don't know. Yeah, I guess the title is going to be less important because you could just go straight into your question. But I guess the title is nice for the home page. Besides that, Ben, do you have experience building multi-tenancy apps, both front-end and back-end? You mean full-stack apps? Yeah, I think he means full-stack apps. And kind of, I haven't gone too deep into like creating your own permissions. For example, if you want to allow users to create their own permissions, that's something I haven't dug too much into. Like, I don't have firsthand experience, but I know like the theory behind it. But I've done versions where you have different types of users. For example, admins, regular users, and I don't know, staff, or different types of things. Yeah. Alright, so now we need to decide what we want to happen when we click on this. When did we make the links red? I don't remember doing that. Alright, so TypeScript's not mad at us yet because we haven't restarted it. Because we added those as 2 props that are required. There we go. Username. There we go. So on question card click and on title card click. So here, we're not grabbing the path right now, but I think we need that. If I go to here, let's include the path, because we're going to use the path to actually link the user or link to it. And we're also going to need actually the branch. So trying to decide how I want to do this so I don't write the same thing twice. I think I want to just add it in a variable up here. So I'm going to say on question card click, and here we're just going to take a question, and what the question here, I need to pass in the type, right? And I think I can access it by doing query questions and getting a singular one. So this is a little trick that you can do, and basically what this is equivalent of is if you click on this type, you click on here, and then this is an array of elements, you just get a single one of them. So it's equivalent to just that. So we could also do this. And then we're going to use router, and we're going to use our own router, and we're going to say push route. Route we're going to is repo. And I think I have this code right here, so I just wanted to make sure I'm doing the same thing. And we'll use that. Nope. So let's search where we're using push route. Really? I think maybe we're using link props then. Oh, we're currently searching through stuff we don't want to search through. Here we go. So the route is repo, and here's what we need to pass in. So actually what I want to do here is make this into a utility function. Actually, do I want to? I'm debating right now. I think I do. I use it slightly different. I think I use it in the repo file, because I'm using it with a link here, and I have it this awkward. Nah, I'm not going to make it into utility yet. If we use this one more time, we will. So the owner is going to be username, I believe. And if it has a path, we're going to split So now this on question click I can use in both these places. When did you start coding and were your parents engineers? Dang it, didn't work. I started coding when I was around 16. I did a Java class, and that's when I first started learning Java. And that was kind of like the first... Okay, this wasn't crashing yet. And then after that, I started doing kind of web development stuff around 18-ish. And then my dad's a software engineer, and my mom is not. Why did this break? So I guess step one is see if it's called. How come you decided to use data loader on this? Never used it before. What are some of the benefits? Caching? Yes, so caching and batching are the two benefits of using data loader. So for us, we're fetching the user, right? You can see there's me right there for each question. And so that would be n SQL queries. So data loader makes that one SQL query to fetch for each one. All right, so it looks like our router.pushRoute just straight does not work. Params. Just checking if I'm missing something maybe. So let's just see if the params look kind of wonky. Don't think restarting Next is the problem. That's the funny thing about Next. Sometimes restarting that like fixes things. So it's always in the back of my head like, well, we should try doing that. Alright, so master code ponder binawad path is prettier.config. Yeah, that's the right order. Alright, so when it's when stuff like this breaks, next thing I like to do is just write it myself, and we'll see if it works. So that's using next routes. We don't have to use next routes. I can say push. So URL, we're gonna say /repo. And the second parameter here is as, and that's what we care about. So for us, we're gonna say, and I might have these backwards, and we might need to swap them. So here we're gonna say binawad, which is the username, /codeponder, which is the repo, then the branch, and then after that the path. I kind of think it may not be working because we have an anchor tag here that is doing the @ sign there. Because it's funny that both do not do anything. So we broke the router. Yeah, I don't see anything happening here. So the next thing I want to just like to narrow down the problem is, let's see if it's a problem with the route or the router. So now we're just going to try going to pick a repo. So snowy. It's so warm here. Alright, so that worked. So something is up with this /repo route. It just like refuses to go to it. I could have the order mixed up. There we go. At least we're getting something. So this is where I just want to verify my syntax. So the href is the correct URL, which is going to be this. And this is going to be what it is. I mean, the other thing, it seems to work as a link. So we could switch this to a link. Alright, so that could have been the problem. I didn't have a slash there. Now I have a slash, and this is a perfectly good URL. Isn't path an array? Yeah, it takes us there. So it's an array when we pass it to this push route. Push route is when we use next routes, and that's a library that we're using. And so what next routes does underneath the hood is it formats it into this URL. So this was not working for some reason. I have no idea why. So I was testing to see is if we tried what it should transform it underneath the hood and see if that would work. Nope. Like, what the heck? Alright, next/link. No, actually that's the wrong link. Alright, so is it path? Alright, so we do link. Let's see what the syntax is that we did over here. We're going to do pretty much the same thing. Data length, pass href, which we do not need to do, I don't think, in this case. Our route is repo. We need to pass the key to link if I want to do this. Well, I'm doing something silly. So like it even tells me that it's the right URL. Like, look at the bottom right here. It shows up. gonna just restart Next, and I don't know what this is complaining about. Some kind of React type. And cases like this, we don't care about, so we're gonna ignore it. This is kind of confusing. I feel like we're doing the exact same thing we're doing over here. So when I click on stuff here, everything works all dandy. I see the same thing. I see the URL in the bottom left. We've pretty much copy pasted the code. But when I try doing that from this URL, it just doesn't want to work. I don't think it's that. There's nothing in the log either. Pretty stumped right now. It's loading the page in the background. Try with target blank maybe. I don't know if you can use target blank on these type of links. Let's see. Bam. All right. So I wonder if it was the target blank that did it or if the pass href did it. It looks like it was a target blank is a way. Yeah, okay, it doesn't know what target is here. So I need to pass target here. That's interesting that the target works. What does pass ref do? So over here, these guys are links. And you see how this link tag is wrapping this link? It's not directly wrapping a lowercase a tag. It's wrapping this custom component, which I just happened to call an uppercase A, and it will render to a lowercase a, but to be able to tell the link that it's doing that, you have to say pass ref. Now, we're not doing that. We shouldn't need to do pass ref here. And it doesn't seem to be making a difference. I just thought that was one difference that we had that we're using over here. Is we do pass ref. Params. It seems like your router loader is broken. Yeah, the odd thing is it's only broken on this page. And it's only broken on this page for a single route. Which sounds ridiculous, which means we're probably just doing something slightly wrong. And it works fine when we do it in target. So why does it not work when we get rid of that? That's the question. Because we don't need to do this link stuff. And I wasn't planning on doing the link stuff. Though I actually kind of like the link stuff because then you get to see the URL. Like when I do it like this, you don't get to see the URL. Which is like a slightly worse user experience. Like now when you hover, you don't see it down here. So I actually like wrapping in a link, I think. I mean, we could copy exactly what we're doing in the folder tree, which is, I don't love because it's kind of ugly. Alright, so we pass a path. So now this is exactly what we're doing in the other component. And this is a little redundant, spreading it twice and calling the function twice. I don't think we can avoid spreading it twice, but we can avoid calling the function twice. We are really breaking stuff over here. We actually don't care about this. And by this, I mean the path. It's unnecessary. Alright, so we can remove it there. I lied. Actually, it may be nice to display the path. So I'm going to leave it there. Like, it could be nice to know that the file you're dealing with is package.json or whatever path you're using. So I'm going to leave it for now, but I'm not going to use it to display anything. Rebuild that. I always get stumped when it asks me the name there. And we've rebuilt that other package, so we need to for sure restart Next. Alright, that's not the only thing that I'm messing up then. Null is not assignable to type string. Ah. That's a shame. Path can sometimes be null, so we need to know that. Meaning we need to rebuild. It's done. And now we'll see. This will be interesting to see if this fixed anything. My guess is it's not going to, because we're kind of doing the identical code. Ah, shoot. Forgot to add an anchor. We're gonna have to rebuild again. So link is passing directly to cart header. Forgot to add a link there. Because whenever you use link, you need to use an anchor before it. And the other thing is, because this is a lowercase a directly passed in, we don't have to say pass ref here. All right, moment of truth. So it didn't work. I noticed it said bundle, doing the bundle thing as soon as I click that. So it seems when I click on this, it triggers that. Is this the case? Nope. It's wrong. I don't actually want to log in with GitHub. I don't know why I clicked on that. I just clicked on it to click on something. Use the debugger. I'm not even sure. I'm not actually sure how to set up the debugger with Next.js and TypeScript to get it to work well. So that'll be kind of a rabbit hole we'll have to follow if we want to. And I'm not really sure what else to, like, if what we'll find with it. Why is it logging this? The other thing is this component may be like silently crashing and we don't know about it. So what I'm thinking about trying next real quick is see if this does anything. Don't call get initial props. Don't do this giant return. Just return hi. We're not seeing any errors, so I don't know if it actually is crashing. Yeah, it is. That's kind of what I had like in the back of my mind, but I didn't see anything in the log, and I didn't see anything in the log here. So now we get to play the fun game of let's figure out what particular piece is breaking. Now maybe this is where a debugger would be nice, is because we could catch the exception that's going missing. Alright, so get initial props is not the problem. Put it in the get link props before returning the route. Oh, you know what? That's the other thing, is we could have added a log to the repo page and seeing if that gets like called. Yeah. Huh. The log doesn't get called. All right. All right, so here we're going to return null. Okay. So it looks like these get repo object component is causing the problem, which wraps the entire thing. Okay. So here here's the logs for our server, and we can see all the SQL queries. So we should be seeing us calling the get repo object, but this is actually calling the GitHub API, so actually we won't. Let's see what the value of this .context is. Maybe the context is getting messed up. Nope, context looks good. I'm going to turn server-side rendering off for a second. Nothing in that log, nothing happened here. Let's just do a hard reload too, see if that does anything. Nope. So in the log we should be seeing, let's see if it sees it making the request to GitHub. It does not. So we can set a debugger here. Pause on caught exceptions. See if something there pops up. Continue. Okay, funny enough, it's not. We're not getting any exceptions. So I have an extension called Clipper. I don't want to be showing that. The logs for that. Pretty stumped at the moment. It's this query that it's not liking. Like maybe I should log what these three variables are. Just the props in general. Let's verify they're legit. They look the exact same, whether we come here as a link or come here directly. Passing the client in through the context. Is there anything else? No, because it straight crashes just with this. And we're also caching it in the get initial props up there. But only when it renders client side, right? Yeah. Well, so like, yeah, like I just load that screen by directly going to the URL, works just fine. But it's when I try accessing it through a link. What the heck? That's trippy. You guys want to know the only difference that I changed? I added 2 console log statements and get initial props. What the heck? Alright guys, I broke it again. And I see it getting called. Alright, so let's load the page. That's not clearing there. Alright, let me just restart a fresh version of Next. So it was working for a microsecond. Alright. This page loads. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. Click. Telling me it's rebuilding. It's still building stuff. Nothing else is going on. Click again. And we're back to it not working. I think I've had Next swallow exceptions before. That must be what's happening with us. So one of their examples, you set up Sentry, and you add component did catch. I'm gonna try adding that to the app. I loaded this page directly, I think, right? The other thing that I'm wondering is if it's just super duper slow. So I'm gonna click on that and just like let it sit for a little bit and see if it like happens. Like nothing looks like it's happening, but maybe it's really, really, really slow. Nope, not logging anywhere. So what I think could be how we saw it working for a second is that it was caching the pages. So we're currently on this page. I go over to this page. I hit the back arrow. And I hit this. Nah. Now what if I go to literally package.json? Actually, we did the prettier config. So I'm on the prettier config. Hit the back arrow. No. Why did it work for half a second? Well, I think I'm pretty much out of ideas to try today, so I think this is like a good point to end the stream, and then maybe I'll think of something. Like, we should be able to get this working. The worst case scenario we could just make this a regular anchor tag. Just so weird. And the weirdest thing is it works just fine on this page. I must be doing something like off. Maybe I'm doing something like weird on this page that's messing it up somehow. Doesn't look anything out of the ordinary. Alright, yeah, let's commit our code and then we'll continue this tomorrow. About the OID, I've done some tests, and the OID is to be put in the place of the branch. In this case, the OID in the place of master. You go from /tree/master. So, did I close the Explorer? No. So do I need to put tree in front of it then? Because I tried that, right? So here's the OID of blob. Like, I know that you put the OID there for the commits. That works good. But I guess this OID to the blob. So what I was thinking the OID was for the commit for the blob, but it looks like it's the OID to the blob and not to the commit. Like, this is the one that I want to put in front. It is what appears on the URL of GitHub. So like, packages, tsconfig. All right, so we're at blob master. Okay, so that works, yeah. Hey Ben, learning Apollo client now feels so overwhelming. Are you new to GraphQL as well then? What part are you finding overwhelming? So yeah, I'm not really sure what this OID is used for, but the commit OID, yes. New to GraphQL and TypeScript, dealing with updating the cache, I guess. Yes, updating the cache can be pretty tricky. The other thing I would recommend trying is unless you really care about getting that working, and a thing you could use instead is refetch queries. And this is a lot simpler to do. So with refetch queries, all you have to do is pass in an array, and then you pass in each one the queries that you want to update. And here you just pass in the query itself, and then if you have any variables, you can pass in variables as well. And so that's a little bit simpler than handling the updates. And then depending on updating the cache, like, that should automatically happen for you if you're doing updates. To set that up though, you have to make sure you're using an ID, but you probably don't want to worry about that for now. But yeah, I would give this a try. And then this will work for the time being, and then you can try update at a later date, because it's more complex to try setting up, because you need to make sure you match the response or the expected format of the data, which can be kind of tricky to set up. But yeah. Alright guys, I think I'm going to end the stream here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.